All right, what's up, everybody? What's going on? My name is Ken Wood, and this is the first episode of Radial Highway, my new music channel that I have been planning to do for a very, very long time now. And to be honest with you, if it wasn't for my son starting his own YouTube channel, I probably wouldn't be doing this right now. But I made a promise to him. I said, if you do your first episode, I'll do mine. And, well, he's 5 episodes in and I'm still struggling with the intro of this thing. I have done this intro 200 times. I mean, no joke, over and over and over and over again. I get 30 seconds in, 5 minutes in, and then I say something that is stupid or insignificant or something like that, and I start over. The first time I did a 30-minute intro, and then I rewatched it and thought it was all over the place. And the reason why it's all over the place and the reason why I keep doing this intro over and over and over again is because I have ADHD and I have a problem with perfectionism. I need everything perfect. I need all the details laid out before I start a big project like a music channel. And just in general, I just don't like to make mistakes. And so here I am on probably the 200th intro for this stupid thing. And I think I've gotten to the point where I just don't care anymore. So I'm just going to roll with it, and we'll see how it goes, and whatever comes out of my face hole, I'm just going to go with it. And that's what you guys are going to hear. But yeah, I do have ADHD. It is a struggle to corral my thoughts. I'm a much better writer than I am a speaker. So just plan to have conversations kind of go all over the place as this channel progresses. If you like streamlined conversation, just getting to the point, that is not going to happen here. It's going to be a mess. So just prepare for that. But yeah, so back to the channel itself. Yeah, the idea has been around for a very long time. Back in the day, I used to write for some magazines, some webzines. I had my own website called Get Your Rocks Off. Not the most ideal name. It lasted, I don't know, maybe a year. I did just the standard stuff, music reviews, editorials, interviews, things like that. And when YouTube started getting really popular and people started uploading music-related content, I thought it would be a great visual component to the website. So even back then, this is like 2006, 2007, I had a vision to do a music channel, and it just didn't happen. I have a very large music collection. At this point, it's over 17,000 albums, mostly CDs, so that requires a lot of wall space, and I just lived in places that didn't have it. I now live in a house that is big enough, has a finished basement, but unfortunately we bought the house right before COVID hit. When COVID hit, the price of wood skyrocketed, and so I've been kind of sitting on the idea ever since then, waiting for the price of wood to come down so I could have CD shelves built and have them, all my CDs on display, have a backdrop here of CDs, and it just hasn't happened. So I'm going to bite the bullet this year and just pay the extra money and get it done. But in the meantime, I remembered that I had these posters. Some of them are from high school, this Monkey Pop poster, the other one over there. Those have been around since high school. System of a Down posters, I got a couple of them up. I've had those for 20 plus years. And then there's a bunch of other things that, I've gotten in over the years, get with albums. When you order albums, you get some posters and stuff, and I just never threw them out. So I'm like, yeah, let's throw these up. So the idea for this channel has been around for a very long time. Like I said, originally it was going to be called Get Your Rocks Off. Then that evolved into Satan Stole My Devil Horns. That was the name of a zine I put out in high school. Where it was, very old school. I would take clippings from real magazines. You'd paste them on a piece of paper, write your own editorial, write your own interview or review or something like that. You'd paste that onto the paper as well. Take some photos from the magazines, steal them, and paste those onto the paper. And then you'd go to the library when you had all the papers done, the pages, and you would photocopy each one for, a nickel or a dime. And, then you'd staple them all together and you had yourself a little zine. And that's what we did back in the day. A few of us had zines, and mine was called Satan Stole My Devil Horns. And honestly, I still like the name. it just doesn't really fit anymore. When I originally created it back in high school, it was kind of a joke reference to the fact that I listened to a lot of different styles of music, and all my metalhead friends, just didn't understand that. So they'd call me a poser and all that stuff, as jokes. You know what I mean? They weren't like mean about it, but so I named the zine Satan Stole My Devil Horns because they always made comments about how I wasn't metal enough and all that stuff. And it was a little reference to a local band called Wargasm. They had a demo out in their early days called Satan Stole My Lunch Money, so it was a little nod to them. And at this point, I found out that there was a website at one point that was kind of popular that was called Satan Stole My Teddy Bear, I believe. So I don't know who would remember that, but that was out in the 2000s, early 2000s or the 90s or something like that. I think it still exists. It did at one point, probably 10, 15 years ago, because I had some artwork done for the channel when I was planning to do it again around 2014, 2015. I had artwork done. Back then, I had a little publishing company that I was running, and so I was going to kind of tie that into the channel back then. It was going to be music. I was going to be talking to authors, and we were going to talk about horror fiction and all that stuff. And so the artwork, while it was cool, and it was done by Yannick Bouchard, who's done a lot of really cool artwork for metal bands and stuff. Stormspell Records uses them all the time. He's done some logos for me. He did a couple of book covers for me back then. But yeah, so he did a great job on the artwork. It just doesn't apply anymore. And, so I've kind of gone in a different direction. And I was going to call it Happy People Have No Stories, which was another music reference. This time the band Therapy, their song Stories. That's the chorus in that song. And that is, one of my favorite bands. That song is on my favorite album by them, Infernal Love. But as much as I liked that name, it's been used a lot out there, and I didn't really want people to think I was kind of miserable and unhappy. It was just I thought it was kind of funny because I'm kind of always in a like a perpetual state of annoyance and discontentment. So I thought it would be kind of funny to just name it that, and then I can get on here and just kind of rant and complain about all kinds of stuff that annoys me. But yeah, that didn't fit either. So we had Get Your Rocks Off, obviously named after a Def Leppard song, if you know them, from their first album, On Through the Night. Obviously, like I said, the first band I ever started to listen to. Hysteria was the first album I ever bought. So technically, I think by default, they are my all-time favorite band. Although I don't really like what they're doing these days so much, but back in the day, yeah, they were a big influence on me. So then it morphed into Satan Stole My Devil Horns, then Happy People Have No Stories. And I kind of, I tried some other names too. I tried like Off Topic because, again, referencing the ADHD stuff. I had a bunch of different names that I thought were cool, but they were all taken, So I was struggling to come up with a name. That was kind of another hurdle that I was running into, and then one day I'm listening to music and Devin Townsend's Radial Highway came on. Really dig the song, heard it a million times. But the next day I woke up and I had this thought in my head that that'd be kind of a neat name for a music channel. And the more I thought about it, the more I liked the idea of, a radial highway is kind of a road to and from a central point, which abstractly could be me, my head, that sort of thing. And of course it could be, that central point could be a town square, for instance. So multiple roads in and out, multiple thoughts, ideas, things like that. So yeah, the more I thought of it, the more I thought it was a neat name, and I had also come up with a logo idea in my head, and so I sketched it out real quick, and it looked like garbage. And back in the day, I was a pretty good cartoonist. When I was a teenager, early 20s, I grew out of that, and I just kind of didn't enjoy it at a certain point, so I haven't drawn in a long time. But in my head, I still have those skills. So I kind of hated the logo. And so I created a new one, still crap because I haven't drawn in a very long time, but much better. And so I reached out to Yannick Bouchard again, who created the original Satan Stole My Devil Horns logo. He also, by the way, created the logo for my son's YouTube channel. Yeah, so I reached out to him, and you know, he's going to do the logo. He's working on it right now. Hopefully he has it done relatively soon, because obviously I want to get this video up quickly, since the stuff I'm going to talk about is, you know, 2025 stuff. And you know, the more time goes by, maybe it's not so relevant at this point, but I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to talk about it. But yeah, so he's doing the logo. And yeah, the Radial Highway just kind of references that roadway or pathway, if you want to call it, to and from my big dumb head. So yeah, that's where the name came from. Like I said, I still like Satan Stole My Devil Horns, but just doesn't work anymore. Especially at my age, kind of silly, kind of goofy. But you know, that was almost a name. That was almost a name. So in a nutshell, this is a music channel. The foundation will always be music, but every now and then we'll have to take a little detour and entertain whatever random thought pops into my head, because quite frankly, I just can't help it. It's going to happen, but we'll always get back to the music. So let's do that right now. Let's talk about 2025. We're going to talk about my biggest disappointments of the year, some of my best finds, some of the coolest things I found throughout the year, the holy grails, as they call them. Like most music collectors, I have a long list, and every year I find a handful on that list. So we'll talk about those, and then we'll jump into my favorite albums of 2025. I'm not going to do a top 25. I'm not going to do a top 10. I'm not going to do any kind of list like that. I can't break it down that way. It'll just be a pain in the ass. And it'll be really annoying for me to try to do that. So we're just going to talk about everything that I really, really liked in 2025. So it's going to take a while. This will probably end up being 2 episodes, 2 parts of 1 episode. But first, let's get into my biggest disappointments of 2025. And I should add that some of these are... They're all albums that I like. That's another thing about this channel. I don't really focus on stuff I don't like. If I don't like it, I just don't like it, and I don't talk about it. I'm not going to be complaining about music here. I'm not going to be negative. I love music. I like I want to listen to the stuff that I enjoy, and I don't dwell on the stuff that I dislike. So you're not going to get that here. If you want to bitch and tell me that I am a poser, or my taste in music sucks, whatever, go for it if that's your thing. That's not what I do. I tend to try to give albums a chance. I still give albums a chance. I don't listen to them once and go, that sucks. You know, I don't skim songs like a lot of the younger kids do, because they got so much stuff out there that they can dig into, and they're looking for immediate satisfaction. I don't do that. You know, some of my favorite albums of all time are albums that I didn't like at first. I remember when I was in Korea in the Air Force in 2000, I had a good bunch of CDs. Actually, I might have been all my CDs at that point over there, because I've been collecting for so long. So I probably had about 2,000-3,000 CDs. They might have all been there. Anyway, my roommate was looking at my CDs, and he pulls this one out and he says, "What album's this?" He's like, "Ultra Spank. You know, this is a badass name." You know, I was like, that album sucks, right? In my head, I mean, I don't remember it at all, but in my head, it sucked. I didn't like it, right? But I didn't get rid of it. And then so he put it on, and now again, I don't know if I don't know if I ever really thought it sucked. I just completely forgot the album. But for purposes of this discussion, I did say it sucked. And he put it on, and I mean, that album blew me away. Like, and right now, it's one of my all-time favorite albums. Both the Ultra Spank albums are absolutely brilliant. And the stuff they've done after with Low Pro, and they've done some other things, a couple other projects. I love them all, right? Some of them are mellow, but they Low Pro actually put out a single this year, randomly. That's the thing they do, is they kind of put out these songs randomly, the singer and the guitarist, and it's kind of annoying, because the way algorithms work is that if I haven't interacted with this band in a year or 2 years because they haven't done anything, Facebook and stuff doesn't show me the posts, and then I find out well after the fact, which happens so often. It kind of sucks, but that's a discussion for another day. But anyway, let's get into my biggest disappointments of the year. And again, disappointments, but I still enjoy them, right? So these aren't albums that I hate. I'm not really going to do that. I mean, I probably would if I really disliked an album. I would talk about it, but for the most part, we're just going to talk about stuff that just disappointed me. I enjoyed it, but there wasn't any album that I really hated, because I don't end up that's the other thing about the good thing about technology is that, back in the day, you buy an album and it sucked and you were stuck with it, right? Now we can listen to it beforehand. So a lot of the stuff that I buy, I already know if I'm going to like it or not, and I won't buy stuff that I really hate. Like I'm never buying Saint Anger by Metallica. That album can go fuck itself. I'm never buying that album. I never will. Even for I've seen it for like 50 cents and I'm not buying it. It's a piece of shit. But you don't really run into that problem anymore, and I never had to buy that album because I knew just from that first song that it was garbage. We were able to hear it. Back in the day, you'd buy an album and yeah, sometimes they suck. But so for the most part, everything that I buy is stuff that I enjoy, that I know I'm going to enjoy. There's some things I do some blind buys every now and then, especially like local bands. Like if I'm out shopping at Purchase Street Records or something, which is local, and I'm looking at a CD and it looks cool, and then I flip open the booklet and it's like, oh yeah, this band's local, but from back in the day, and I'll grab it, especially if it's cheap, I'll grab it, give it a shot. Sometimes they suck, sometimes they're really cool. But anyway, so first up, biggest disappointment of the year. Oh, this is going to be a problem. See, I'm moving it the wrong way. So, all right, there we go. Babylon AD, right? This is a quick turnaround from their last album, which was Rome Wasn't Built in a Day, I believe the name was. This one is just, I don't know. It's good. There's some really good songs on here. When the World Stops was the first single they put out. Really liked it. Some goofy songs on here that I just think are like, at their age, right? I mean, writing these silly kind of, rock and roll anthems like Power of Music, which is just kind of, I don't know, it references like, other bands, other styles. It's just kind of silly. But overall, it sounds like a band trying to be what they used to be, but kind of failing at it. And that's harsh. It's harsh because it is a good album. Don't get me wrong. It's a good album. Osuki's kind of a dumb song as well. I Don't Believe in You is a really good song. Great song. And the production's a little off. Derek Davis has been doing the production on the last 3 albums. Just leaves a little bit to be desired, I guess. But it is good. It's just kind of muddy production. When you listen to like the opening riff for Bang Go the Bells, and that obviously 1989, so a long time ago, but God, that has a tone on that guitar, and I just wish some of these songs had that as well. But it's a good album, don't get me wrong. If you're a fan of the band, you'll like it. I think it's a step down from the last album, and that one was a step down from, what was the one before that? Something highway. I can't remember. Anyway, the one before that one was really good. And these are they're just not, I don't know, quick turnaround. Maybe that was the problem. This I think the last one came out last year. Rome Wasn't Built in a Day. I think they came out last year. So a little bit of a disappointment for me on that one, but again, solid album. This one, technically, this didn't come out in 2025. This came out in 2023 as a digital, like a Bandcamp Friday thing. Ginger Wildheart is the one who did this album, and it's basically kind of like a punk rock album. And if you know Ginger or the Wildhearts or his solo stuff, the dude is a phenomenal songwriter. I honestly do not know how he continues to write so many amazing songs over and over and over again. Excuse me. But this is another album that he did, punk rock, kind of a heavier style. It's fantastic. Came out in 2023, like I said. I didn't buy it. I missed it. He put it out. It was like only for a day. I think I missed it. But I didn't buy it because, again, sometimes I don't buy the digital stuff, especially when it's like priced, I think, a little too high for a collection of MP3s. But this, what's the name of the label? Undergroove? I don't know. Undergroove Records put this out and this year and on CD for the first time. So technically, again, not a 2025 release, 2023 release. Great album. My real complaint is the goddamn price that it cost. which was basically $52 for the price of the CD and shipping, which I guess that is also thanks to Donald Trump. He can go fuck himself too, because the prices for this stuff, the shipping costs on these things. I wanted to buy the new EP by The Eternal, vinyl only release. Unfortunately, I'm hoping they put it on CD someday. I was just checking it out, right? It's like $30 for the vinyl. It was $60 for shipping, and Sister Sin just put out a new single, and that shipping is that's a 7-inch single with an exclusive track, I think, for the B-side. $35 for shipping, and I'm just not doing it. I did this because I'm a big fan of Ginger, so I paid the extra shipping cost, just because I'm a collector of his stuff. And but big disappointment there. So again, technically not a 2025 release, but you get the point. I just wanted to complain about that. The next one, Bloodywood, New Delhi. Man, when they're I'd heard about this band because of my kids. That song PPAP, the Pen Pineapple Apple Pen, with that weird Japanese video, with that creepy video. If you've never seen it, look it up. The original, it's really weird. Used to watch it with my kids. So just one day on YouTube, prior to their last album, Rack Shack or Rock Shock, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but they used to do cover songs. They used to do what a lot of bands do. They do covers on YouTube and stuff. So that's kind of how they got their start. And I had heard that song. So when they started to do original music, I saw it, I checked it out, and I absolutely loved it. Absolutely. Rock Shock was, if I had done, that was my number one album for, I believe it came out in 2023, maybe 2022. But that was my favorite album that year, hands down. Blew me away. Like, that doesn't happen often at my age, listening to so many bands. It's very, not very often that a band just kind of blows you away. It does something so different and so well that you're just like you're 16 again. You remember when we were back in the day, and everything we listened to was just blowing our minds, and it's because we were just we were impressionable back then, and we get older, and that's why it kind of makes me laugh when people bitch about like bands not blowing them away. It's like, well, dude, you're 50 years old, right? You're not going to be blown away like you were when you were 16. You've lived a long life so far, right? You've experienced so many things. That's just not how it works, but every now and then a band will come along and just do that for me. Prior to that, System of a Down. When I first bought there, I got their second demo when they released that. There was a website called labands.com, I believe, and they were selling the demo, and I just bought it. Blind purchase back then. Sounded cool, and just, it's not even their best stuff. It's the song Honey's really good. I think Soil's on that. There's one other song. What's the other song called? Either way, 3 songs. Really cool, really different, but not their best stuff, right? I kind of wish they had re-recorded Honey at some point. I heard they did, but they never released it. But great album, great demo. Again, blew me away. And then their third demo came out after that, and I was like, that was like the start of the Street Team stuff. And I got an early copy of the real demo with Andy, the singer. He went on this form, Apex Theory. But he was the drummer on the original third demo that they then got, when he left the band. They got John in there, and then they mass produced that whole Street Team thing. But anyway, like that demo, that third demo is that one. The second demo kind of blew me away. The third demo just even more so. The sound on that thing, man, the production, so amazing. But anyway, so that was, every now and then, again, a band blows me away, and this was Bloodywood did that. This album, really good. New Delhi, like when they released that single, I was like, oh my God, here we go again, because that song is flat out amazing. The rest of the album, though, just really good. Doesn't quite live up to what I was hoping it was going to be, right? After Rock Shock. A lot of these songs are heavy. There's no and it's short. It's 8 songs, which I think that's about how many songs were on Rock Shock. But this one's not as dynamic as the last one. This one's very heavy for the most part. And I don't think the hooks are there, right? I don't think it's as catchy, which is kind of the disappointment for me. But I know people love this album, and it's a really good one. It's just not. I had higher expectations for it, and so I was a little bit let down, which is kind of unfair because it is so good. So don't take that with a grain of salt. Very good album. I just wish all of the songs were kind of at the same quality as New Delhi, which I think fits in, at the high standard I had, after hearing the first album. But very solid album. So if you did like the first Bloodywood album and you happen to not have that one yet, you will love it, I am sure. Or if you've never heard the band at all, please give them a shot because they are brilliant. They mix very heavy metal with a little bit of rapcore, Indian language for the heavier screaming and stuff, which is probably better because when people are screaming like that, you really don't know what the fuck they're saying anyway. So it doesn't really matter. And then they got like kind of a rapper dude who does the English lyrics. And then they mix in some traditional Indian music with really heavy, genty kind of, metalcore kind of stuff. Really, really good. Very original. In my opinion, there may be some other bands out there that kind of mix it up like that. Not that I'm aware of. That was, my first experience with a metal band that kind of mixed in traditional Indian music in that manner. So fantastic stuff. Next up is this guy is this John Butler. Man, I remember there was a music channel. I can't remember the name of it, but there was a music channel a long time ago, and I saw the video for the song Zebra. And brilliant. Like I was like, what is this? Just a dude, acoustic guitar. He's jamming, it's kind of folky. It's kind of jam bandy kind of stuff. And I became a big fan. And that album, Sunrise. What's the name of it? Sunrise Over Sunset? Hold on, we gotta check that out. John Butler. Sunrise Over Sunset? What the fuck is the name of that? Sunrise Over Sunset. Sunrise Over Sunset. That doesn't make sense. Sunrise Over Sea. So that was the first album that I heard. It's the first John Butler trio album. He has a solo album before that. Also very good. The next couple albums, Grand National, was also good. Then came Success. And with Success came, I think, happiness. And it happens, man. Like bands and people get older, and he's one of those like hippy dippy kind of dudes, all positive and stuff. But his music kind of reflected that, and it became kind of mellower. It's not like dude was rocking out or anything before that. But the music was, what's the right word? Heavier in a folk sense. It just kind of rocked a little bit more. Again, in context of folk music. And then he just kind of went into this, like, everything sounds happy. Kind of Ani DiFranco the same way. I saw her live in Italy in 2000. Or was it 2000? When did I go to? Yeah, 1999. Sorry, not 2000. 1999. I was in Italy. 6 months over there, Aviano Air Base, and I was living in a hotel, and she played in this. It was another hotel down the road, and we called it the Velvet Banana, because it had a banana on the sign outside of it, and I was like, it looked like the Velvet Underground's album cover, and so I didn't know what the hell the name of the place was, so we called it the Velvet Banana. She played there, and I went, nothing to do. I'd heard of her before that. And, I went, and it was packed. The place was packed. And she blew my mind. Just an acoustic guitar. There was a drummer, bass player. But she blew my mind. It was like a punk rock show. She was angry, and it came through that music, even though she was just playing acoustic music. And it was brilliant. And at that moment, I bought every album that was available at the merch stand. I remember talking to the girl at the merch stand for a long time, just like, dude, I was like, this is amazing. And she was really cool. But I became a big fan. Again, now I'm a huge fan. It's been now 20 something years. But at a certain point, she started to mellow out. And again, she's playing acoustic music, but you can tell she's got a song called I'm Not Angry Anymore, which I think really translates to the rest of her music, where she's just, she's angry, right? She's always been, kind of a political singer and musician. And so I'm sure she's angry at the state of the world, but the way that she conveys that anger is different now, through her music. And it's more chill, and it's more mellow. It's more introspective. And it's kind of the same thing with John Butler. A lot of his stuff is just, it sounds happy, which isn't a bad thing, but I don't know, man. Like sometimes you just want something to be a little bit darker, you know. I don't want to, it sounds like kind of stuff that you would hear like, you know, industry songwriters do, you know, for people that won, you know, American Idol, which is, it sounds bad. It's not like the music's terrible, but I just kind of wish it was a little bit darker, if that makes any sense. Because again, it's folk music, but it is a good album. You know, there's a lot of really mellow stuff, you know. But I like Out of My Head, King of California's all right. Going Solo's okay. You know, in fact, I'm so disappointed with this album and some of his last couple that my friend is like begging me to go see him in April, I believe, and I'm like, I'm not going. I've looked at the set list, and he's got so many amazing songs from the past that they're not on there. There's like he's playing like 19 songs, and like half of them, more than half, I think what's half of 19, 9.5 songs. So I guess that can't be possible. But 9 songs, at least from this album. And he's got like, there's so many songs he's not playing that he could be playing that I'm just like, I don't understand, you know. I don't understand why bands do that in general, where they know that the fans like, they'll play all these new songs, the fans are like, yeah, it's great. And then they'll play like an old song, and the place goes bananas. You know, it's like, dude, you play those songs. Like, I know as a musician, you want to play the new stuff, but like, good Lord, you've got so many, 9 songs from a new album. There's like 11, 12 songs on here. There's 12 songs on here. You play 9. That is absurd. Anyway, good album. Just like the last handful of albums. Flesh and Blood was, I think, the last one that I really liked, and that was kind of there were some songs in there that I could live without. So that's kind of when things started to go sideways for me and John Butler. Anyway, Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band. Again, solid album. I like it. Americana, alt country, bluesy stuff. But after the last 2 albums, which are a bit more rockin', you know, upbeat, this one is just straight up Reverend Peyton on the guitar, sitting in his living room. There's some other things in there. There's a little bit of washboard. I don't even know if you could call it drums. You know, we're talking like buckets. I don't even need cardboard boxes. I don't know if it's a real drum kit. You know, somebody stomping on the floor, that sort of thing. Which is, that's funny because they got rid of Mack, their old drummer, left the band, and they got this Jacob Powell guy in the band, and first album back, and there's no drums. Yeah, and we got I guess there's a little magnet in here as well. But yeah, very good band, very similar to Peyton on Patton, which was an album he put out a long time ago. A bunch of cover songs. Front porch. Let me get that word right. Front porch, not French port. Front porch sessions is another one kind of similar. That one did have drums on it. There was the what's the other one? The gospel album. Similar. Those ones, gospel album and front porch sessions. Again, not the right word, but a little bit heavier because they had a little bit more upbeat. They had drums. This is really just kind of really chill. You know, old school, old timey bluesy, you know, back in the day, just, you know, a dude playing the guitar, singing the blues. So very good, very good. But after the last 2, I can't help but be disappointed because they're so good. They're so good with the stuff that's just a little bit heavier, rocks a little bit more. You know, and again, hope to bring the kids back to see them someday. So again, very good album, but I was a little disappointed. This one, again, another album I enjoy. Laurenne, Louhimo, I think that's how you say it. That has Netta, Laurenne, and Nora Louhimo from Battle Beast. Netta's in a band called Black Sun, also very good. But this is the Frontiers Records album. You know, and if you know Frontiers Records, they kind of have they do the country the country music thing where they have like a stable of songwriters and they just get some vocalists in and stuff. And, fine by me, right? I don't give a crap about who's in the band or anything. If it's good music, that's all I care about. And the debut album from them was brilliant. This album is good. It's just what it's missing a song like The Reckoning from the last album. What's another one? To the Wall is another one on the last album. That big hooks, and this one just doesn't have it. It's got a couple mellow songs too. I think there's an acoustic one on here, I believe, or almost acoustic. It's just not. It doesn't have the. It doesn't have the hooks, And for me, a guy whose first album he ever bought was Def Leppard's Hysteria, And then I obviously got into Pyromania and High and Dry after that and everything. And the hook is like, if your music is catchy and it has those big hooks, I am all over it. So when you release an album that has those and then you put out a follow-up that doesn't quite have that same style or that same quality of hooks, I'm going to be disappointed. So not a huge deal. Again, great album, but a step down from the last album. And that leads me into Battle Beast. Nora also in that band. This was her band. She just left the band, which will lead me into another album I'm going to talk about here soon. But with Battle Beast, man, like they have a song called Enter the Metal Realm, Metal Realm? Oh, God, it's killing me. Anyway, Enter the Metal Realm, or is it World? I think it's World. From the first album. Every time they put an album out now, I'm like, God, I wish they would go back to the Metal Realm or Metal World. Because while this is good and it's heavy, it has those drums that are like dance. It's like a dance beat. And I know it's done well for them, and so I'm not criticizing. I would do the same thing. I can tell you, I would do the same. If I was making money, I would do the same goddamn thing. They're making money, but like once they put out like, what was it? Touch in the Night, right? I think that was like the first song from a few albums ago. That was like, whoa, what the hell is this? Like Euro dance music, right? As the backbeat. And ever since, they've kind of had that on a lot of their songs. This one, like Twilight Cabaret. I mean, God Lord, that's like you take the guitar out of that and that is a dance song. And it's not bad. Riders of the Storm is another one. They're not bad. And I enjoy them. And it's funny because the dude who left this band and started Beast in Black, he's kind of following suit, right? They're doing the same damn thing, Also very good, but I just wish it had more of a heavier guitar tone, real drums, not drums that sound like, they belong in a club, at a dance club. It's just, I can't help but be disappointed. That's all. It's not like I don't like it. Again, very good album. Nora is, the vocalist, amazing vocalist. It's a shame she left the band. She's pursuing some solo stuff. I do have her solo album. It's very good. It's kind of old school 70s rockish type stuff. So I don't know what she's going to be doing. I think she's doing some opera stuff. I think she's doing some stuff that maybe I'm not going to be so much into her solo stuff, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, she's no longer in the band. And a disappointment, but we'll move on to my best finds for the year, and that will lead us into Phantom Elite. Wasteland. This is not really a hard album to find. It's just it's hard to find for a reasonable price, I should say. And this has Marina in it, who is now she left this band. Good, well, I got to get this thing. All right here. This is where I need to put the camera. This thing, right? All right, there we go. So yeah, Marina left this band, Phantom Elite, back in August, something like that, October, September, August, that time frame. She's put up, or the band has put up a couple of reels recently that state. I thought that when I had seen that she had joined the band, I was like, oh, okay, she must have joined the band because Nora left and they reached out or whatever, or she must have left Phantom Elite for that reason, but apparently that wasn't it. She just happened to want to pursue different things, and then this opportunity came up, and so now she's in the band. Now here's the thing: while Phantom Elite is a fantastic band, it is, symphonic metal, I guess you could call it. I think that's what they call it, symphonic metal. I don't mess with genres that much, because it gets, when you start breaking it down, it gets to be stupid, and you're trying to figure out what to label a band, and then you got a band that does one style on one album, a different style on another, as a nightmare. You get a band like what's the name, Pyogenesis, right? They go from doom death metal to gothic rock, and then to straight up pop punk. Like, no joke, if you've ever heard Devin Townsend's Punky Brewster album about the death metal band that goes pop punk when they break some guitar strings at a concert, Pyogenesis is like, if they weren't the inspiration for that album, I'd be shocked. I don't think they were, but it's just hilarious, because they literally went from doom death to gothic rock metal to straight up pop punk. And now they're back, and they're 3 albums into a cycle where they're doing this like heavy progressive, it's got some death metal vocals in it, but it's like this heavy, it's not progressive like, like really intricate. It's just kind of a more creative metal style, big sound, big choruses, really, really good. And now they just put out the other day a clip of a new song from an upcoming record, and it's heavy. It's not pop punk, but it's got some punk rock in it. So that band's all over the fucking place. And so if you start breaking down by genres, it's like, how do you do that? So I'm like, it's punk, it's metal, it's rock, whatever, right? So I don't break it down. So symphonic metal. Very, very good. They signed to, this was their first album. They had a couple albums out on Frontiers Records. They released something called Mantra, something like that. Recently, I don't have it, unfortunately. It was digitally released. There was a CD version that I guess you could pick up at shows. I haven't seen it available for purchase anywhere, so I don't have it. I don't know what it sounds like. That's probably why I can't remember the title of it. But so Marina is now the singer of Battle Beast, and while she is absolutely capable of singing, I'm curious to see. They showed us some clips of her singing. It's definitely going to be different. She doesn't have the powerhouse vocals that Nora has. Nora is she's brilliant. She's brilliant. Not many vocalists are that good. Marina's she's going to crush it, but you're going to be able to tell the difference. Her voice is she's got like a higher pitch, I think. But honestly, maybe she'll crush it, because we haven't heard her do that kind of style. You never know, so we'll see. But anyway, I've been looking for this for a while. I got it for a reasonable price. I think like $25. Usually it's like 50, 60. So again, not very rare, but it's just something that's been on my radar for a while. Not quite a holy grail album, but definitely something that I have been looking for. So I was excited to get it. Here we go. We got some hip hop. In case you didn't know, I like hip hop. Like I said, second band I ever started listening to was Run DMC. So this is Mack from, if you know the band Bionic Jive, he is one of the vocalists for Bionic Jive, and been looking for this for a long time. This one's hard to come by too. There was a reissue put out as well at some point, which I don't have that either. That's also hard to come by. The reissue has a couple different songs. I think they're all kind of maybe remixed, remastered on that one. It's got that 90s look where the font is glittering and all that stuff. But this was the original. This was his first album. And the cool thing about this, if you've ever heard Bionic Jive's Armageddon Through Your Speaker, which is a brilliant rap metal album, Hands to the Roof was remade on Bionic Jive's album. Largely exactly the same. Lyrics and everything are pretty much the same as they are on here. So it's just kind of like a straight cover, but much heavier. The chorus is fantastic. It's super catchy on this version and on the Bionic Jive version. What You Trippin' On as well is a song on this album. Part of that song was used on the song Pump on the Bionic Jive album. So this is like early 90s hip hop. So it's got that style. It's not overall, it's not the best. I wish kind of the caliber. The reason why they took a song like Hands to the Roof from this album is because it's so good, and they put it on the Bionic Jive album. I kind of wish all the songs had that kind of level of quality, but it's still a fantastic album. Obviously, you got a couple skits, which is like standard hip hop, and typically with like most skits, I'm like, what's the point? I don't understand. But yeah, and then they cover the song Friday as well. But very good album, very good album. Happy to have that one in the collection now. All right, another one, Jimmie's Chicken Shack Slow Change EP. This one is also, it's not really hard to find. It's hard to find cheap. It's basically a single for the song Do Right from their Bring Your Own Stereo album, but it's got 3 songs. Slow Change, Broke Down Palace, and Smiling, exclusive to this. I believe they're all exclusive to this. At the time, anyway, they might have put it on another album. I can't remember quite off the top of my head if any of these came out on another album. But Do Right, radio version, and the regular album version. But three unreleased songs. My God, how am I going to remember to put? It's like I go off the camera because it's opposite than what I'm looking. Anyway, I'm going to complain about this probably every goddamn time I do one of these. So yeah, very good album. Jimmie's Chicken Shack is still around. It's still touring. I do not have their most recent album because they released it on CD and the price was way too high. I kind of hate the fact that bands for the longest time talked about record labels ripping them off and all that stuff. And then the moment that they get control of their own music, they raise the price by like double. I mean, bands have been selling the CDs themselves now forever for like $25. It's like, dude, if I know you're producing it and it's costing you more money, but as a fan, if you're going to not work with record labels and stuff, I mean, figure out a way to make it more reasonable for us to buy your crap, because $25 for a CD, especially since all of them these days are coming in crap like this, I mean, like 75% of the CDs released these days are in a digipack, and you're charging double what the cost used to be. Again, I get why they do it, because they're trying to make money, and they're not making money because everybody's stealing their music and all that stuff, and streaming doesn't pay and stuff. But I'm being selfish right now and I'm bitching, so I apologize. But yeah, I still haven't gotten the latest album because it was too much money, and I believe actually it might be even sold out now, so I kind of missed out. So ultimately I'm probably going to pay more than the goddamn $25 at some point when I say, you know what, I really want that album. But anyway, here we go. My bread and butter, 80s rock. This is my thing, man. I love 80s rock, and I had never heard of this band called Trouble Tribe. I found them on a website. Again, just there's a website that every Monday they release, they update the website. They have a ton of 99-cent, $1.99 CDs. A lot of times it's just common stuff that I'm not really into, but it allows me to, if I want to check out a band like U2, right? I know the U2 hit songs, Bruce Springsteen, I know his hits. And I was like, yeah, let me check out his other stuff. John Mellencamp, another one. And over the years, I got into those bands or artists through this website because they would get the CDs somewhere and 99 cents. I'm like, oh, check, I could buy 5 Bruce Springsteen albums and check them out for $5. I'm going to do that. And then, I buy them and I realize, well, hey, shit, this is good stuff. And so they have a lot of stuff that just shows up on the site like this. And I looked it up and I brought up YouTube and I put on a song called Here Comes Trouble, and I'm like, holy shit. Like, this is the 80s rock stuff that I love. Big chorus, obviously lyrics about girls. I believe that song is about a woman or women in general. I can't remember exactly because I literally just got this recently. So not a holy grail find, but just one of my favorite finds of the year, because again, I love finding bands that I never heard of. them. And when I see stuff like that, pictures of dudes looking like chicks, yeah, I'm like, that's my stuff right there. They don't really look like chicks, but you get the point. Yeah, fantastic album, super catchy. The song Here Comes Trouble is the one that's coming to my mind right now because I have a a greater memory of that because I checked them out on YouTube and I just kept listening to it over and over again. But I got this one like 2 months ago, month and a half, 2 months ago. So I haven't really listened to it a ton. But first run through, second run, it's a fantastic album. Again, a band that, one of those bands that you're like, they didn't hit. They could have. That single could have been huge. Singles better than Here Comes Trouble is better than some of the singles that the bigger bands release. But I don't know whatever happened to this band. I don't know. I looked some of the dudes up. Looks like the guitarist passed away 2014 maybe, a couple a while back. So I don't know I couldn't find any info on any of the other band members, what they're doing now. So it's just kind of a one and done. And they crushed it. I mean, this is a fantastic album. So if you can find this somewhere and you're in the 80s rock, dude, definitely check it out. It's a great album. Here we go. Some more of my best finds of the year. Again, I'm going to try to run through this really fast. Terra Naomi, folk singer, piano, singer-songwriter. She's excellent. I don't know when I started to become a fan of her back in the day. One of her albums, I think I found it for $2 at Nuggets in Boston. But again, she's really good. And I was able to, I scored all of these from the same seller on Discogs. She's got a bunch of stuff a couple more things of hers that I don't have, but she's got a bunch of stuff that she put out in very limited very limited quantities. Quality is not limited. It's very, very high quality stuff. Sorry, Terra Naomi, if you're watching this, did not mean to insult you. But yeah, so this is something called Solo. It's got there's a bunch of songs on here. It's like these are like promos. They're like, this was a promo thing that she created. Unfortunately CDR. So broken jewel case, I guess, as well. So CDRs, it still works. I was able to rip it, no problem. Unfortunately, a lot of CDRs over time start to degrade and they don't work. Like I have a Byzantine demo EP, a CDR doesn't play. I have the band Edna Swap. Once they kind of disbanded, they started a band called Antenna. I have that CD. That CD doesn't play anymore. I wish it did. It's a really good CD. But yeah, so this got 12 songs, 19 songs actually. She's got some solos, 12 solo tracks, and then 7 full band tracks. Some of them are rare. Some of them are end up on other albums in different versions. Some are not on anything else. And she got a little description of each song here because again, this is a promo thing that she probably sent out to labels. So got that. Also got this, a self-titled EP. This one is 7 tracks. I have a 4-track version of this, so I didn't know that there was a 7-track version. A couple different songs on here. Also here a something called Intro, another promo thing that has 3 songs on it. And then we've got Live and Free, which was not free for me. Again, another 3-song thing. Just a little live EP. And then Virtually is a full-length album that she put out at some point. Limited edition. I missed it. I didn't, again, thanks to the algorithms. I've been listening to her for a long time. I've been following her on Facebook and stuff for a long time. But, I just missed it at some point and I didn't buy it. And there's 1 or 2 others that she released that I don't have yet. But yeah, singer-songwriter, acoustic guitar, piano, stuff like that. She's doing some opera stuff right now. She did post something recently where she was like, she doesn't know if she'll ever get back to doing music like this. And, at her age, she's a little bit older. She's pursuing this opera thing. And, I kind of hope that she does get back to doing some of that because, all the power to her. She wants to do opera, but that's not my thing. Yeah. Anyway, Terra Naomi, really good stuff. If you're into, Ani DiFranco, Sarah McLachlan, Emm Gryner, that sort of thing, check her out. She's really good. And speaking of Emm Gryner, this is another rare CD. Unfortunately, this is how it came. No back cover art. It's just a CD, a promo thing. It's got 2 exclusive songs, Edgar and Idaho. They don't appear on anything else. Edgar, I believe she's singing in French. One of them she's singing in French. I've been looking for this for a long time. I've had it downloaded. I did download it at one point because I did not think I would ever find this. Cost me a little bit of money. Cost me like $20 for a 2-track single.
I'm not sure what you're trying to edit.
Did you guys hear me say anything to this stupid phone? No, you didn't. Was I trying to edit anything? No, I didn't. I wasn't trying to edit anything. But it's listening to me. It's listening. Anyway, Emm Gryner, she is fantastic. Similar styles, you know, a lot of piano, a lot of acoustic guitars. She's done a lot of really different style stuff over the years. Recent years, she's done a jazz album. She's got an ambient album. She did a yacht rock kind of album, which not entirely my thing, but like there's some really great songs on there, like Burn the Boats. So if you haven't checked that out, check it out. She's doing a Kickstarter campaign right now. You could probably still get in on it. She's doing 2 albums. One's called Ovary Axe, you know, so it's kind of a play on words, Overreacts. She's calling it a metal album. I've heard some of the songs. Yeah, I wouldn't call it metal. It's kind of metal, but it's kind of like pop rock from what I've heard so far. But she's brilliant. She loves, I think Hysteria is her all-time favorite album as well. She's a big Def Leppard fan, so, you know, got to respect that. But she's fantastic. She's got a really cool covers album called Girl Versions, similar to the Tori Amos album, where she covers like a wide variety of songs. On the piano, she does a Crazy Train, which, oh my God, it's brilliant. She turns it into this like dark ballad. She does Pour Some Sugar on Me. She's a Stone Temple Pilots song. It's fantastic. So she's got a lot of really, really great albums. So definitely check her out if you are into that sort of thing. Next up, got some, I guess you call this new metal. 40 Below Summer, Sideshow Freaks. This is the original. It's the, I don't have Infrared Transmission, I believe that's the album called, the album title. I don't have that one. That was the last album. They released it on CD again. I somehow missed it, and I can't find it anywhere. So if anybody happens upon this thing, let me know how to buy it, because I want the CD version. They just put out a new album called Untethered in October, and they are apparently CD versions that they had available in a show that they played, but since October the band has like gone radio silent. I've messaged them like, hey, can we buy a CD? I've commented on their post, so I don't know what happened. I'm like, I don't know if they broke up or something like that, you know what I mean? But they recorded an album, or posting, you know, all the way up to the album release and everything. They did a show and then fell off the face of the planet again. But anyway, little rap chorus, not quite, new metal mostly. Very good band. This album, it's their debut, so it's not the best, but it's a very solid album, and I'm happy to finally have it in the collection. This one as well, Boiler Room, man, like if you know their Can't Breathe album, brilliant. I don't know when it came out, 2000s, sometime early 2000s, late 90s. Can't remember off the top of my head. But they released a single back in 2004. No, 2024. They released a single back in 2024. Very good song. It was called, which one is it? Which one? No Patience? No Patience. And I was like, hell yeah, it's a great song. A little bit different from the stuff they did on Can't Breathe. But excellent. I mean, it's been like 25 years since that album came out. And so I was pumped. And then I never saw another damn thing about the band after that, only to find out, you know, and this was like a month ago, that they actually released an album back in March 2025. And this is it, Rectify. So I haven't had a lot of time to sit with this and listen to it. It's very good. It's not as good as Can't Breathe. It's, again, a little different. It's more raw. I know raw is a word, but I fucking hate that word. That shouldn't be a word because it's really difficult to say, or at least to me. It's not difficult. It's just a pain in the ass. Rawer. It's like I feel like I'm trying to be a lion. Anyway, fucking moron. I was talking to myself. But yeah, if you liked Boiler Room back in the day, check this out. It's very good. New metal. Again, not as good as the debut. Actually, I don't even think that's the debut. They have one before that I do not have as well. That one's really hard to find. So maybe someday I'll have that one, but not as good as Can't Breathe, but very good nonetheless. And then here is another holy grail of mine, my own victim, Leadhead. This band, this goes way back to the Identity compilations from Century Media. Like, though back in the day when we didn't have the internet, you know, you relied on compilations, and those Identity compilations that Century Media put out, just so many bands that I discovered through that, Moonspell. Actually, I might have discovered them before that, but Stuck Mojo. I think Stuck Mojo is I first heard them on that compilation. And My Own Victim were on there. They had a couple albums on Century Media, the early albums, hardcore band, a little bit of punk rock mixed in, but a brilliant band. All their albums are fantastic. They've got one EP that I don't have now that they put out, Songs for the Dying or something. I can't remember, Songs to Die By or some shit like that. But it's on. The songs are on a compilation that they put out at some point. But this was the last. Besides that EP, this was the last one that I needed, and very hard to find. I don't know what the quantities were when it was released. I don't know if it was very limited, but I have not been able to find a copy of this for a very long time, and it just popped up on eBay recently over in the UK. I paid 50 something bucks to finally have this in the collection, and it's a fantastic album. If you like My Own Victim, that old where are they from? They're from Kentucky. Just excellent album. They're unique. I can't explain why they have a unique style of the hardcore that they play, but to me they just do. Vocals, the music, something's a little different. I don't know of any band that quite sounds like them. So if you are into hardcore at all, definitely give them a shot, because they are very, very good, and I am super happy to finally have that album in my collection. And then maybe someday I'll get the EP, and then I'll have everything. But I haven't seen the EP available anywhere once, so it kind of sucks. But lastly, Anyone. This is the last find, what I would consider a kind of holy grail find or a best find of the year, is this debut release from the band Anyone. Some of you may know them from their album that they put out on Roadrunner Records a long time ago. They are just, there's something unique about them. The singer Riz Story's got a kind of unique voice. He's really, it's like progressive alt rock, I guess. It's definitely progressive. It's not metal. It's not like, it's not what you would consider progressive rock or metal. To me, it's like alternative rock with just some heavy progressive leanings. This is their debut. This one is really hard to find. I didn't pay a ton of money for it, but it was still like $35. The guy had it on eBay. I think it was like $75 or something, and I offered like 30, and he accepted, or 20. Maybe it was 20. And I was shocked. Whatever I offered, I was shocked because it was way less than half of what he was charging originally. And they accepted it, and I got it. But when I got it, I thought it was a, you're not going to be able to see it. But if you look right here, it says 2020. And I was pissed. I was pissed. I thought I paid, even though I didn't pay as much as this dude wanted, I still paid a decent amount. And I was like, for a reissue. Like, I didn't even know it was reissued. But that's actually the street address, for this record label or whatever. So it wasn't released in 2020. But I thought I'd bought a reissue. That was just the street number. But yeah, fantastic band. Again, progressive alt rock. They've kind of, they were popular, and I guess they claim to fame. They used to be called Sylvia, and Taylor Hawkins was the drummer in the band prior to the name change to Anyone. He unfortunately has passed away. But yeah, great band. Unique. Riz Story. The dude he's also kind of unique. He posts a lot on Facebook and stuff, with praise for himself. These quotes: praise for himself, praise for anyone. And sometimes it's attributed to like a magazine that if you go and search for this, like Highlands magazine, like there is no, that I could find, there is no Highlands magazine anywhere. You can search the direct quote, and that doesn't come up either. And now, I don't know, maybe there is a Highlands magazine out there. Maybe it's a zine that somebody did, like I did back in the day. And there's like 3 copies out there. I don't know, but there's a lot of A lot of ego involved, I think, in this band, and somewhat justified. He's a brilliant musician and fantastic songwriter. I think though, for me, it's almost like a turnoff, where I just kind of wish he would. I don't know. I don't want to read about how great somebody is or their band is all the time. Like post some other things, some other things that are a little more interesting. Show yourself jamming. I don't know. Just it's weird. It's weird, right? And nobody comments. Nobody gets like 2 likes, and then there's like weirdly there's like 10 shares, but they're all private. So it's like, well, who the hell's sharing it? How many pages does this dude have? Sorry. A little unfair, but there's some fishy stuff going on there. But his last album, Echoes of the something, God, I can't remember. It's about AI and a relationship with an AI person called Eve, which apparently is a true story where he has been, I won't say in a relationship because I don't think it was that, but he has been having a relationship with an AI that he has named Eve, and he is convinced that this thing is becoming more human, which is bananas if you know anything about AI, which is that's not happening. Yeah, they are learning stuff and they kind of change, but it's not human, it's not real. But he seemed, I watched an interview with him, I read an interview, and this dude legit seems to think that like this thing is becoming human, and hey, he's not going to be the first, and he isn't the first. I mean, there are people out there that are probably in love with their AI companion at this point. So, but that album's great. I can't remember the name of it. I could look it up. But he's got a bunch of albums, some double albums. This one's a double album. I think the last 2 were also double albums. Great stuff. Not as catchy because he's kind of amped up the progressive stuff as the debut on Roadrunner. But if you like that album, if you're not known that they've put out albums since then, check them out. They're very good. This one's a bit more raw. It's not as cohesive. Some of these songs are a bit of a drugs were taken, I think, in large quantities when this album was recorded. But very happy to have it in the collection. And speaking of, I also got this. This is a demo. I don't know when this came out. There's nothing online about it. It's got Giving Thrills, Whole World Insane, Slaves. These are songs that were on that Roadrunner album. So I'm thinking that this was a demo that they put out like prior to that release. Maybe the thing that got them the record label, the record deal. A song called Sip is on here as well. That did end up on a future album. But so Daddy Sky Pig's kind of exclusive to this. I haven't listened to this. I do have a one of these things. I haven't touched it in a while. It's like an MP3 cassette player. Allows you to rip some cassette tapes that you have, and I did that for quite a few of those that I had. Some of these things sound like balls now at this point. And some sound pristine, some sound perfect. In fact, there's a band called Human from Texas that I had their demo, and I ripped it a while back, and one of the songs came on, and it sounded great, and it's one of the ones that I ripped. So I just kind of reached out to the band. I was on their Facebook page, and I reached out to the band and said, "Hey, do you guys have this on this demo ripped?" Because a lot of bands lose their music over the years. It gets thrown out, or they gave them all away and they don't have anything. So I reached out. I'm like, "You guys want this?" And they were like, "Hell yeah!" So I uploaded it and sent it to them. So that was cool. Another one, Cassette. I don't buy these very often. This is typically what I do buy is these demos. They were only released as cassette. This is Shadow and Ivy by Sri Lanka. And if you don't know this band, which I'm would not be surprised if you didn't know this band, but it has Jose Maldonado from the band Liquid Gang on vocals here. This is kind of it's kind of alt modern rock, but with like maybe a gothic flavor in it. They have an album too, a full length CD as well. Really, the only reason why I ever bought those was because of Jose was on vocals. And if you don't know the album Sunshine by Liquid Gang. That album is absolutely brilliant. One of my all-time favorite albums. It's alternative rock, and it is just every song. Every song is a hit song that could have been. I mean, I don't know why this this band was not huge, but every song on that album is absolutely brilliant. And he's the vocalist. He's got a really unique style. Unfortunately, the band broke up. He went on to start a couple other bands called one was Planetary, also fantastic. They only released demos. Then he did a couple other albums with a couple other projects. Paloma was one of them. There's one other. Either way, doesn't matter. We're not talking about them really right now. But fantastic vocalist. And at this point, I don't think he or any of the other guys in the band are doing anything. It's kind of unfortunate because they were fantastic. Yeah, so if you like Liquid Gang, Sri Lanka, if you've never heard of them, check them out. That demo is hard to find. Again, another thing I have not listened to because I don't have a cassette player handy, just that one. And I haven't ripped anything in a while, so I gotta get used to ripping the stuff again through Adobe Audition and get the settings right before I do that, because I don't really like the idea of playing these tapes more than once. So I'd like to just play them once, rip them, and then listen to them after that, because if you know cassettes, sometimes they don't come out of the cassette player the same way they went in. All right, so that was my biggest disappointment to 2025. Some of my holy grail finds, some of the cooler things I found throughout the year. As I expected, this went on a little too long, so in the next video, we will discuss my favorite albums of 2025. If you stuck around this long, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe, leave a comment. Definitely leave a comment. I enjoy discussing music with people. Just don't be a dick. That's the #1 rule. Don't be a dick. Otherwise, I will see you on the next video.